obstruction of law enforcement officers. Is there a history, Ms. Bostic?
2 cycles in Illinois, 5 in Georgia. In Illinois, there's 2015 DUI parking where prohibited conviction, which was his last arrest in 2015. His convictions in Georgia are old DUIs. Nothing further.
Thank you, Ms. Melgiza.
Yes, Your Honor. I just want to make sure this is Mr. Freeman, position 5.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
Position six.
Okay. Yes. Your Honor, this incident is from April 20, 2025. The location is Walmart, located at 835 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive Northwest, Atlanta, Georgia. On the day of the incident, Officer A. Salters from the Atlanta Police Department was working security at the location. He saw the defendant enter the store, and the officer informed the defendant that he could not be in the location. He actually had been criminally trespassed on March 5, 2025. After that, he went back to the location on March 8th. He was given also a warning. The defendant continued to walk and ignored the officer. The officer followed him and told him several times that he was not allowed on the property. He attempted to escort the defendant out of the store by grabbing his arm. The defendant snatched away and told officer that he was not going to leave. The defendant was actually tased since he continued to resist arrest. Another officer had to respond to the location and assist with the incident. The defendant was finally arrested. The defendant did suffer an injury from resisting arrest in the encounter with the officers. Your Honor, the state's recommendation is a $1,000 surety bond. Stay away from Walmart, located at 8835 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, Northwest Atlanta. Social service visit to determine if a BHET is necessary. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons while on bond. The reason why we're asking for a surety is the likelihood that he will reoffend since he keeps coming back to the location. That is all for the state, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Ty.
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 49 years old. He denies the allegations as stated in the warrant. As you heard, his only history is DUI. He does have an address here in Georgia. He works full-time. He's lived in Georgia since 2021. This is his local grocery store that he goes to all the time. He was not aware that he was ever criminally trespassed from this location. The affidavit states that for arrest states that he was criminally trespassed in March of 2024. States that he was standing in the produce aisle shopping and was tased on his back, Your Honor. He did fall and sustained injuries to his head. He states that there was blood everywhere. I would ask for a signature bond through the jail, Your Honor.
Your Honor, if I may, the affidavit that say a 2024 date, the report said a 2025 date.
Okay. It will be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 on each charge, makes for a total of a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Stay away from the Walmart on MLK Junior Drive. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Mr. Freeman, I'm going to let you out on a signature bond, but if you go back to that Walmart and they pick you up again, I'm not going to give you a signature bond next time. So don't go back to that Walmart for now, okay? All right. Good luck to you, sir.
Number 13 is Huey.
Mr. Hugh, you've been charged in case 25CR002071Y with willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. Is there a history, Ms. Bostic?
As in regards to the defendant FTA on his booking, 11 cycles, FTA, and 20 possession of marijuana with intent, loitering, prowling, PTI, and 20 misdemeanor theft by shoplifting in 2019. Open case for Schedule 1 or 2 with the intent and marijuana with the intent, 23 SC 186193. Nothing further.
Thank you. Before we go on courtroom 2, I just want to make note that we have the Spanish interpreter, Ms. Chansey, on the line. So whenever you have the opportunity to make whoever needs the interpreter available, just let me know, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you. Yes, Ms. Dunlap.
Thank you, Your Honor. This incident date happened on April 18th, 2025. Location was 2451 Old National Parkway in College Park. Officers were patrolling the area. From what I understand, they walked past 3 suspects who smelled like marijuana in the midst of officers searching. The first 2 suspects, defendant decided to walk away. Officers gave him verbal commands to stop. He ran up the stairs. Officers were eventually able to detain him as they saw him running out of a hotel room. Given that he has a FTA, I'm sorry, was that out of Fulton that the FTA was?
It is.
It is out of Fulton. The state is looking for a signature bond through pretrial, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
Any objection to any of that, Mr. Haddad?
Judge, that's fine, or through the jail. I mean, I'm working on contacting Superior Court to get him an earlier court date or a change in bond, because right now he's on a no bond status on the felony charge. But a signature bond is what I would ask for, Judge.
Okay. Well, obstruction is
That's right, Judge. I stand corrected.
all right. So as such, it'll be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, sir.
I guess we got 9 through 11, Mr. Green. Hold on. Oh.
Good afternoon, Mr. Green. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002077G with simple battery family violence, 2 counts, and giving false information to law enforcement. Position 10, case 25 CR 002080G with battery family violence and cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Position 11, case 25 CR 002083G with simple battery family violence and 2 counts of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Is there a history?
Judge, in regards to Devin Green, there's an FTA on his booking, 7 cycles. Currently has open cases, Fulton for obstruction, pistol under the age of 18, firearm during misdemeanor possession, theft of services, burglary, 23 SC 188622, open case, criminal attempted felony, firearm during 23 SC 188635. Open case in Clayton for theft by receiving stolen property is a 2024 case. And then Department of Corrections, possession of meth with the intent to distribute, sale of marijuana, prohibited item by an inmate, which was his last arrest, 12824. Nothing further.
Thank you, Ms. Dunlap.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just to note, all 3 cases have the same exact victim. It is the mother of his child. I'll go in order of how I have them listed. The most recent one was April 18th, 2025. Officers were in the area when a female advised, that's Miss Natara Houston, that she was just attacked by the defendant. She said the defendant keeps coming back to her apartment, making threats, saying he was going to kill her. There was an argument. Defendant spit on her, pushed her with an open hand. When officers detained the defendant, he gave a fake name during the encounter, Kamari Walker. They do have a child together. I believe the child is 6 months. The second case happened on, it looks like I had this listed as February 21st, 2025. Officers responded to a fight call. The same victim in this case, she stated there was an altercation with her child's father, the defendant. He refused to take their son to the grandmother's house. Defendant grabbed her phone. When she grabbed it back, he punched her in the mouth with a closed fist, left lacerations on her bottom lip, incurred occurred in front of the son that was 4 months old at the time, initials E.H. The third incident is March 27th, 2025. Officers made contact with the same victim who stated there was an altercation between her and the defendant. Started off as a verbal argument the night before. In the morning, she asked him to leave. She walked outside to talk to her friend. When she was walking back inside, he picked up a fire extinguisher from outside the apartment, tried to throw it at her. This happened in front of the kids. She has two kids. It looks like first initial is J.H. and the same defendant's child as well, E.H. She was able to grab the fire extinguisher before he threw it, but then he kicked her to the ground and began kicking her in her head, causing her to be in pain. Our office did have a chance to speak to the victim. I'm sorry. She stated they are not in a relationship. They do not live together. They share one child that is now 6 months old. That is the child of initials E.H. The incident location is her residence. She confirmed the events in all three warrants. She stated that these are not the only times the defendant has been violent towards her, not the first time the police has been called. Victim stated she has to call the police on the defendant on the day before the most recent arrest, which was April 17, 2025, for assaulting her. They escorted him off the property. He came back, assaulted her again. She didn't call the police on the second time. She stated the defendant assaults her in the presence of their child and also while she is holding him, the minor, that's 6 months. She stated she wants no contact with the defendant, wants him to stay away from her residence. She did say she would be on Zoom because down for Miss Houston when necessary. He did make 8 calls to this victim from the jail. He's continuously asking her to drop the charges. She is saying no. She details the injuries that she has, and that he spit on her. He said that if she drops the charges, he will leave her alone. She continues to tell him no. Seeing that he has made 8 calls to the jail since he's been in, asking her to drop the charges, the state is particularly concerned with the safety of Miss Houston and her children, giving the report that he said that he's going to kill her. If he's able to make bail, he's very high risk to offend. Again, the state is looking for a $16,000 cash bond, $2,000 on each charge. No further contact with Natara. No further contact with the minor E.H. and J.H. Stay away from 3230 Dodson Drive connector in East Point. Family Violence Intervention Program. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I did have to note that that open aggravated assault has a judicial hold because he failed to appear. So if he's not inclined to give a cash bond, then the state would request a high surety bond as well. And that's it for the state. If we could sound for Miss Houston when necessary. Thank you, Your Honor.
If Ms. Houston is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. Need for you to activate your camera and unmute yourself, and I'll have to swear you in. Does not appear that she's with us. Ms. Atai?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 21 years old. He has lived in Georgia all his life. He is a high school graduate. He graduated from South Atlanta High School. He was working at FedEx doing deliveries until he injured his leg. He is injured right now, Your Honor. The affidavit for arrest from April 28th states that he was on crutches. He is in need of surgery for that injury to his leg, Your Honor. He stated that the doctors stated that once the swelling went down, or as soon as the swelling goes down, he would need to have surgery. He does have FTAs on 2 cases in Superior Court. He tells me that he was incarcerated in Waycross, Georgia when he FTA'd on those. Otherwise, he doesn't have any other FTAs. His last arrest was January 2024. I would request a signature bond through pretrial services on these charges, even if it's at level 4. Of course, he does not have any contact or need to have any contact with the complaining witness. They do not live together, Your Honor.
Okay, on position number 9, for each of the simple batteries will be $1,000 good bond. For the false information, a $500 good bond makes for a total of a $2,500 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Houston. Stay away from her residence. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Position number 10 for the battery will be a $3,000 good bond. For the cruelty, a $500 good bond makes for a total of a $3,500 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Houston. Stay away from her residence. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Position number 11 for the simple battery, a $2,000 good bond. Each of the cruelty, $500 good bond, makes for a total of a $3,000 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Houston. Stay away from her residential address. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Your Honor, we're gonna
Mr.
ask for no further contact with the minor children as well. She stated to our office that he's assaulted her in front of both of these children that reside with her at this residence, as well as the allegation that she said he is threatening to harm her physically. And she said that he's done this while she is holding the minor child.
Okay, and in addition, at this time, no further contact with any of the minor children. Mr. Green, let me explain to you what no contact means. No contact means absolutely no contact. Obviously, no personal contact, but no phone contact, no texting, no emails, no internet, no contact whatsoever. If I find out that you've been trying to contact Miss Houston, these bonds will be withdrawn and you'll be right back where you are. Good luck to you, sir.
All right, give me the breakout room for courtroom 1, and whoever the attorney for the Spanish guy and this interpreter.
Okay, that's Mr. Ty. So if we can place Mr. Ty and Miss Chancey, thank you for being here this afternoon. We appreciate it. And courtroom 1 into a breakout room, please. And I guess we'll take Mr. Dodd's cases while they are in the breakout room.
Anyway, we'll go to number 15, Mr. Larimore.
Good afternoon, Mr. Larimore. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002074B with battery family violence and battery against a female who is pregnant. Is there a history, Ms. Bostic?
Judge, in regards to Mr. Larimore, no prior arrest history. If you decide to release him, pretrial suggest level 1.
Thank you. Ms. Dunlap?
Thank you, Your Honor. This incident date happened on April 19th, 2025 at 2472 Spring Garden Drive, Southwest. Officers were dispatched to a fight in progress. The victim in this case is a Tamara conversion. Officers made contact with the victim. She said that her boyfriend, the defendant, escalated a dispute they were having. He grabbed her by the neck and then punched her in the stomach. She is pregnant. Ms. Conversion stated she had a scratch on her neck. Our office did have a chance to speak to the victim. She stated they're no longer in a relationship. They do not live together. She's currently 16 weeks pregnant with the defendant's child. She confirmed the events in the warrant. She stated the incident location is the defendant's residence. Victim confirmed the defendant grabbed her by her neck with both hands, applied pressure. She rated defendant's grip at 8.5. She stated she did have some difficulty breathing because she has asthma. She stated she didn't lose consciousness, but he did have his hands around her neck for about 8 seconds. She stated this is not the first time defendant has been violent towards her, but the first time the police have been involved. Victim stated she's not in fear of the defendant, is okay with no further violent contact, and she will be on Zoom. We can sign for her when appropriate. Given the nature of the allegations and the fact that the victim has stated he's been violent with her in the past, the state is looking for a $4,000 surety bond on this case, $2,000 on each count. No further contact with the victim. Ms. Tamara conversion, family violence intervention program. I will sound for, I think she is on just to make sure she's not at the defendant's residence. If she is, a stay away until she leaves. If not, no stay away is necessary and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
Ms. Conversion, now is your opportunity to address the court if you choose to. I would need for you to unmute yourself and activate your camera for me.
Okay.
Okay, can you activate your camera for me, ma'am, if you wish to?
Yes, I can.
Okay, raise your right hand for me, please, ma'am.
All right.
Okay, do you swear from the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court, ma'am?
I like to drop the charges. I went to check on my baby. Everything is good. And is there any way that you can do, we can have contact, just not violent contact?
Okay, I'm having difficulty hearing you, Miss Conversion. Say that again. The last part, what would you like for me to do?
is there any way that y'all can do, we can still have contact, but no violent contact, and I would like to drop the charges?
Okay, tell me what happened.
We got into a disagreement and we got to fighting.
Okay, and what do you mean got to fighting? Did he put his hands on you?
Yes.
Okay, tell me what he did.
We got to fighting and he punched me in my stomach.
Okay, and you're pregnant?
Yes.
Okay. Who lives at the Spring Garden Drive address?
He do.
Where do you live someplace different?
Yes.
Okay. Has this ever happened before?
No.
Are you afraid of him?
No.
Thank you for being here, Ms. Conversion. Mr. Dodd?
Judge, that's a conflict case.
Oh. I'm sorry.
I believe. Is this on Larimore, Judge?
Yes.
Yes, I believe. Let me just double check my notes, Judge. But
Ms. McLeod, are you with me? I see Ms. McLeod's on the line, but I guess she's not.
yeah, it is a conflict case, Judge.
Your
Okay.
Honor, just to note, I know you did ask her about the injuries, just to note the allegation, she said to the victim advocate and the warrant state that he did place his hands around her neck, so I'm gonna reinforce that we are requesting a surety bond.
Okay. Well, it looks like we're gonna have to start this again at the appropriate time when we can have Mr. Larimore's attorney on with us. Mr. Larimore, we'll be back with you as soon as we can get your attorney.
Okay. I can hear the judge. It's the weirdest thing. My computer is acting up. Okay, Ms.
Oh,
McLeod, thank you.
Oh, so you can,
Her computer is acting up, Judge. I reached out to
Okay.
her. So she's trying to come on.
okay, I could hear her through.
Yeah, I was calling her on
you.
my phone. Yes, sir.
Okay. Oh, there she is.
I'm sorry. I was having some difficulties
Okay.
getting it to work, but I
Did you-
am here.
Did you hear any of?
I heard some of it. This is Mr. Larimore.
Yes. Where would you like for us to start, Ms. McLeod? From the top?
I heard her say that he had two separate cases. I was only aware of one.
He has a battery, family violence, and a battery against a female who is pregnant.
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Dunlap, would you and this is first arrest. Ms. Dunlap, would you like to go through the facts again for Ms. McLeod, please?
No problem. This incident date happened on April 19th, 2025 at 2472 Spring Gardens Drive Southwest. They were dispatched to a fight in progress. They made contact with the victim, Miss Conversion, who stated her boyfriend, the defendant, were involved in a dispute. He ended up grabbing her by her neck and punching her in the stomach. She is pregnant. She just stated for the court she's 16 weeks pregnant. She did have injuries to her neck. We did speak with the victim. The victim and defendant are no longer in a relationship. They do not live together. As I stated before, she's 16 weeks pregnant with the defendant's child. She confirmed the events in the warrant. She stated the incident location is his residence, that he grabbed her by her neck with both hands, applied pressure. She rated his grip at 8.5. She stated she did have some difficulty breathing because she does have asthma. She stated she did not lose consciousness. She also stated the defendant had his hands around her neck for around 8 seconds. And it's not the first time the defendant has been violent towards her, but it's the first time the police have been involved. She stated she's not in fear of the defendant, okay with no further violent contact. She is on Zoom. As such, the state is still requesting a $4,000 surety bond based on the allegations of him putting his hands around her neck and hitting her in the stomach when she's currently pregnant. No further contact with Miss Conversion, a family violence intervention program. No stay away is necessary. She's saying she is not at that address, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor, I'd like to, does the victim want to say something?
She did. If you would like for me to repeat it, she said that she wanted to contact. But if you want me to have her testify again, I'm happy to do that.
No, Your Honor, that would not be necessary. My client is 18 years old. He tells me that he's currently working on his GED. He said that they got into an argument. He denies that he put his hands on her, Your Honor. He says that is not true. She became upset with him. He would, of course, prefer no violent contact, which I understand is what the state is recommending. This is his first arrest, Your Honor, and he tells me that she is pregnant, and he's very remorseful about the incident that happened with them. He tells me that it happened at his mother's home, and he really would like to have contact with her since she's pregnant. So that is what I would be asking for, Your Honor, a signature bond for him and no further violent contact.
Your Honor, she did tell you that he did hit her for 1 and 2. We are requesting no further contact, not no further violent contact, just to be clear.
Okay. For each charge, it's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Makes for a total of a $6,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 1-day anger awareness. At this time, I don't believe it's beneficial for them to have contact, so no further contact with misconversion and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Larimore.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It's 6,000 level 1.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Now we go with position number 8, Mr. Gomez, interpret the case.
Okay. Ms. Chance, if you can raise your right hand for me.
Yes,
Do you swear affirm that you will interpret from English to Spanish and Spanish to English to the best of your ability?
yes, I do, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Gomez Gonzalez. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002061D with failure to obey signs or control devices, driving without a valid license, and willful obstruction of law enforcement officers.
Buenas tardes, señor Gómez González. Usted ha sido acusado en el caso 25 CR 002-061D con incumplimiento de señales de tránsito o aparatos de señalización de tránsito por manejar sin una licencia válida y por voluntariamente obstruir a la autoridad.
Is there a history, Ms. Boston?
¿Hay antecedentes, señora Boston?
Judge, in regards to Mr. Gomez Gonzalez, 3 cycles out of Texas, all for alien inadmissibility, 1 cycle out of Georgia for driving without a valid license, and it was paying a fine in 23.
Su señoría, con respecto al señor Gómez González, hay 3 procesos en Texas. En Texas, 1 por inadmisibilidad de extranjero y un ciclo en el estado de Georgia por manejar sin una licencia válida y en el 2023 se pagó una multa.
Ms. Dunlap?
Thank you, Your Honor. This incident date happened on April 20th, 2025.
Este incidente ocurrió el 20 de abril del 2025.
Officers conducted a traffic stop on Mansell Road.
Los oficiales hicieron una detención en el Mansell Road.
Defendant had failed to stop for a red light.
Al acusado se lo detuvo por no respetar una luz roja.
Officers asked defendant for his license. He stated he didn't have one.
Los oficiales pidieron por su licencia de conducir y él declaró que no tenía una.
In the midst of officers trying to arrest him, defendant began to resist arrest and try to flee.
Y en el medio del proceso de que los oficiales trataban de arrestarlo, el acusado comenzó a resistir el arresto y trató de huir.
I just have to confirm, Your Honor, willful obstruction doesn't qualify for jail, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. The state is looking for a signature bond through pretrial.
La fiscalía está solicitando una fianza bajo firma a través de los servicios previos al juicio.
No driving without a valid license.
No manejar sin una licencia válida.
and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
Y se prohíbe el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas mientras esté libre bajo fianza.
Time.
Yes, Your Honor, it is, his second arrest, and it's a traffic violation, Your Honor. I have no objection to a signature bond through pretrial services.
Sí, su señoría, este es el segundo arresto y no es un incumplimiento, es un incumplimiento de tránsito. No tengo ninguna objeción de aceptar la fianza bajo firma a través de los servicios previos al juicio.
For each charge, it will be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No driving without a valid license, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Por cada cargo será $1,000 de fianza bajo firma a través de los servicios previos al juicio, lo que lleva a un total de $3,000, el total de la fianza bajo firma a través de los servicios previos al juicio. Queda prohibido manejar sin licencia válida, queda prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas mientras esté libre bajo fianza.
Mr. Gonzalez, you cannot drive a vehicle unless you have a valid license. If you're caught driving without a valid license, again, I won't give you a signature bond next time. You understand?
Señor González, usted no debe manejar un vehículo a no ser que tenga una licencia válida. Si a usted se lo arresta conduciendo de nuevo sin licencia válida, yo no voy a darle una fianza bajo firma de nuevo. ¿Lo entiende a esto?
Comprendo.
Ok.
Good luck to you, sir.
Buena suerte, señor.
Gracias.
Thank you.
And do we need Ms. Chancey for any other cases this afternoon? If not, thank you, Ms. Chancey. We appreciate you
You're
jumping out.
welcome, Your Honor. Have a good evening.
You too. Thank you.
All right, next we got number 16, Mr. Larkins.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Larkins. You've been charged in case 25 CR 002062A with simple assault family violence. Is there a history?
After
Boston?
history, Judge, choose to release them. Pretrial suggest UJR jail.
Thank you. Mr. Dodd? I'm sorry, Ms. Westman.
Thank you, Your Honor. In this case, the incident was on April 20th, 2025 at 311 Monterey Parkway in Sandy Springs. The defendant threw multiple candlesticks, a bag, pillows over the defendant who was lying on the couch. The candlestick left marks on the wall. The defendant admitted to the officer throwing the candlesticks, and the victim has video of the items being thrown. The defendant and the victim are in a romantic relationship and they do live together. The officer was told that the fight was over cheating. The victim says we spoke to said that he did get a scratch on his eye and was struck by one of the items. He said he is not in fear and wants to continue contact. Defendant does not have any priors, therefore the state is amenable to a signature bond through pre-trial with no violent contact and an anger management course. And we would sound for the victim at this point, Mr. Mangum.
What's the name again, please?
Mr. Mangum, his first name is Quintavious.
If Mr. Mangum's on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. Here, sir, Mr. Dodd.
Your Honor, no objections. I would just ask if the court orders a anger management class just the one day. But other than that, Judge, no objection to recommendation.
It will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, 1 day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Mr. Mangum, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Larkins.
Deputy number 17, Mr. Bashar.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mashar. You've been charged in case 25 CR 002078E with loitering and prowling, willful obstruction of law enforcement officers, and criminal trespass. Is there a history, Ms. Bostic?
3 cycles, Judge, out of Michigan, dismissed. This is his only prior Georgia cycle. Last arrest was 2018, nothing further.
Who's presenting for the state?
Your Honor, Pamela Westman for the state. On April 20th of this year, which was yesterday, at 6005 State Bridge Road in Johns Creek, that's where the incident occurred. The officer arrived on the scene, was given a description of a male that had slashed the victim, Miss Tajua Musico's tire. A man matching this description was seen outside. The officer told the man to stop, this man being the defendant. He took off running. The victim and the witness told the officer that there was banging on the door several times from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. The victim, Miss Musico, shares a child with the defendant who had come into town for Easter. When Miss Musico and Brooke Moore, they exited the apartment and they saw the defendant by Miss Musico, the victim's car, and he was crouching down. And then he crouched down and moved to the passenger side of the car. And then they heard air escaping from the tire and they found a slash mark on the tire. That car is at the shop and it costs $58. At this point, the state is asking for a $2,000 surety bond for the defendant, no further contact with the victim, and a stay away from her home and workplace, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and an anger management course. And at this time, we would sound for the victim, Miss Tajua Musico.
Ms. Musico is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Mr. Haddad?
Your Honor, on behalf of my client, he's 32 years of age. I do not believe he's got any prior convictions, Judge. He's a truck driver by trade, does not reside here, and a stay away is not going to be an issue. I would ask that. I would ask, in light of his lack of history, if the court consider releasing him through pretrial services and allow him to report by phone. Otherwise, a really low surety bond so he can post bond, Judge.
Okay, it will be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial on each charge, makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with the alleged victim. Stay away from her residential address. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. And it's fine with the court if he reports by phone. Good luck to you, Mr. Michaud.
Got 21, Mr. Smith.
Good afternoon, Mr. Smith. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002064B with criminal trespass and damage to property. Is there a history, Ms. Bostic?
Judge, in regards to Devin Smith, only prior arrest was a criminal trespass in 2013, no disposition. If you're choosing to release him, pretrial suggests level 1. UJRG, I'm sorry. Nothing.
Ms. Westman?
Thank you, Your Honor. On April 19th, at 2135 Godby Road in College Park, an officer arrived on the scene after getting a call, and the defendant had just run out the back door. Victim Stephanie Davenport said that she was fighting with the defendant because the defendant kept asking her for money. Davenport said that the defendant got mad during the fight and threw an AirPods case at her, and it broke her cell phone, which is valued at $200. The defendant later admitted that to the officer that he actually threw it into a door inside the home. So there's conflicting statements of how it broke, but because of the significant damage, that's why the officer asked him. He has reportedly said, and that's what had happened. The defendant admitted. The victim told us that the defendant is the brother of her daughter's child's father. I can repeat that if you want. The defendant is the brother of her daughter's child's father, and lives with her. She says she's not in fear and is okay with contact. I will note that the state does not want to put a child at risk for any kind of contact like that. And we will be asking for no further contact based on the child. There was a prior criminal trespass in October of 2013. The time expired. That's why that wasn't charged. In any case, we're asking for $1,000 surety bond, no further contact, and a stay away because of the child, as I mentioned. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and an anger management course. At this point, I believe the victim, Stephanie Davenport, was going to call in. We would sound for her.
If Ms. Davenport is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. Mr. Haddad.
Honor, my client is 32 years of age. He's currently unemployed. He was employed last, I think, couple of months ago through a temp service, Judge. He is actively looking. He's, of course, indigent. I would just ask the court to release him through pretrial services. He is residing at that address, and I would just ask the court to consider a no violent contact. Thank you, Judge.
And tell me, whoever can, it's complicated for me. So Stephanie Davenport, who is the child that's involved?
The child is Stephanie's. And the way I understand it, it sounds like the defendant is the father's brother. The defendant is the brother of her daughter's child's father. Yeah. So
Okay.
It would be the uncle of the child.
And Your Honor, I was not aware of that angle. What I was under the impression is that my client and Ms. Davenport are actually kind of in a relationship. So there might be some other relation somehow, but I was unaware of that part that Ms. Westman mentioned, Judge.
That's what was told to our office.
Okay. As such, it's going to be $1,000 signature bond through the jail. No further violent contact with Ms. Davenport or anybody in her residence at the Godby Road address. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Judge.
Welcome.
And next we got number 22, Mr. Stinson.
Good afternoon, Mr. Stinson. You've been charged in case 25 CR 002065E with discharge of firearms on or near public highway or street and reckless conduct. Is there a history, Ms. Bostic?
Judge, no prior arrest history. If you're choosing to release him, pretrial suggests UJR jail.
Ms. Westman?
Is this Mr. Stenson?
It is.
Are we sure there's no prior? I have 9 priors.
Ricky Stinson, I will look again.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Why don't you tell me what you have, Ms. Westman, as far as priors while she's looking that up for me?
Mr.
Okay.
Stinson changed his name legally, and so his criminal history is under Brandon Stinson, or there's another name. Just FYI, that's why.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Owen.
Thank you. And what I have are 9 prior arrests. Carrying a concealed weapon in September of 2006. A burglary that was no prost, an arrest in September of 2008. A card fraud felony in October of 2010, where it was a first offender act and therefore not a convicted felon. A battery that was no prost in January of 2010. There was an FTA on a battery that was a conviction in March of 2011. In March, that's March 11th, March 15th of 2011, there was a probation violation. In 2013, there was a simple battery, family violence, criminal trespass. And currently there is an open case in Franklin County from July 24 that is a felony, forgery, second degree, willful obstruction of a Leo, and speeding. So that's what I have as far as prior history.
Thank you.
You're welcome. On April 20th at 401 Morgan's Landing Drive in Sandy Springs, an officer was dispatched there regarding an armed person at an apartment complex. The officer made contact with a male. The defendant said he had lived there and he admitted firing a shot in the air. He told the officer he wanted to see if the gun worked, however, was aware that there was a firing range very close by. The officer found a shell casing. The officer was dispatched based on a witness, and that witness said that she saw the defendant firing the gun in the air, but then he started to point the gun at the apartment buildings, which housed her family and many others. She also said that he was waving the gun around the complex. Based on this, the defendant were asking that he have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and we are asking for a $1,000 surety bond.
Sudad?
Your Honor, we don't have an opposition to the no firearm and alcohol. My client did work security at a club, Judge. He is from the Atlanta area, does not have any kids. I was unaware of I was going to ask the court for a signature bond through pretrial as when I ran the name, but I understand the state's position. Nonetheless, Judge, I would ask for a signature bond through pretrial services.
Okay, for each charge, it'll be $1,000 good bond, makes for a total of a $2,000 good bond. Surrender all firearms, no drugs, alcohol, weapons, while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Stinson.
And next we have number 24, Mr. Tanner.
Good afternoon, Mr. Tanner. You've been charged in case 25 CR 002068A with theft by shoplifting. Is there a history, Ms. Bostic?
Judge, in regards to Mr. Tanner, multi-state offender, Nevada, 1 cycle of fraud in 21 with no disposition. In Florida, 9 cycles. Petty theft in 24, felony cannabis and misdemeanor cannabis in 2017. Disorderly conduct and resisting officer in 17. Alabama, 2 cycles. FTA in 24. U.S. Marshals, 3 cycles of fraud in 19. He has a hold out of Eastman, Georgia for probation violation. 9/22/20. Georgia, 14 cycles. FTAs in 25, 24, 24, 23, 22. Criminal trespass in 22. Open case in DeKalb for obstruction and loitering. Open case in Miami for theft, 2 counts, trespassing property from 1/12/25. And currently on probation, financial ID fraud and theft by taking 18 SC 159515. Sentence 3/14/25 for 3 years. Nothing further.
Thank you, Ms. Harrison.
Yes, Judge, this incident occurred on April 19th, 2025 at 844, Cleveland Avenue, East Point, Georgia. This is a Walmart supercenter store. Officers responded to a call for a shoplifting incident. When they arrived at the scene, they met with Walmart's security and loss prevention, specifically Officer Kendarvis Jamies, who explained that the defendant had been found with a Modelo beer on his person. Had been found concealing a Modelo beer. They stated that Walmart did want to press charge. They wanted to press charges, and they wanted the defendant to be criminally trespassed from the property. Officers spoke with the defendant. They conducted a brief interview, and he admitted to taking the beer and explained that he was going through a hard time and made a poor decision in stealing it. In light of the defendant's outstanding charges and prior FTAs, the state is recommending $1,000 surety bond. We're asking for no alcohol, weapons, or no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while on bond, and of course, to stay away from the incident location, which again is the Walmart Supercenter located at 844 Cleveland Avenue. That's all for this.
Mr. Dodd,
On behalf of Mr. Tanner, Judge, he's 34 years of age. He reports to me that he just started working a couple weeks ago at a local steakhouse, Malone's. Doesn't really have anybody to help him with as far as a bond judge. Understand his history. I would ask the court to consider a $500 just a surety bond judge. I really don't think it's going to make a difference, but I would ask for as low of a bond as possible.
I'm gonna release you to hold, but if you don't come back, they're gonna put a warrant out for you. So against, it's gonna be $1,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the Walmart on Cleveland Avenue. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. I hope you still have your job at Malone so that you can continue to make a living. So good luck to you, Mr. Tanner. If you don't come back, they're going to put a warrant out for you. All right. So you'll get notice of your next hearing date. So please show up for it. Good luck to you, sir.
And next we have 26, Mr. Turner.
Good afternoon, Mr. Turner. You've been charged in case 25 CR 002076Y with reckless conduct and disorderly conduct. Is there a history, Ms. Bostic?
Judge, in regards to Mr. Turner, 15 cycles out of Pennsylvania old violation of Cosmetic Act, and Georgia 3 cycles reckless driving, failure to maintain lane in 2019, DUI in 2018. Last arrest was 2019 FTA. Nothing further.
Ms. Harrison?
Judge, the offense date for this defendant was December 8th, 2023. The incident location was 900 Meadow Glen Parkway. It's an apartment complex in Fairburn, Georgia. Officers were dispatched at the incident location at 11:50 p.m. They arrived on the scene in response to a call for shots being fired in an apartment complex. When they arrived on the scene, the defendant was found laying on the ground near the mailbox area of the complex. He had a black handgun in his pocket that was in plain sight of officers at the time. The firearm was removed from the defendant's pocket and secured, and officers found 4 spent shell casings that matched the firearm. The defendant was so intoxicated that he was unable to walk on his own. He could not identify himself and had to be identified by his driver's license, which was in his wallet. He was transported to the Newman Piedmont Hospital, where he refused to cooperate with staff, and he was admitted to the hospital due to his level of inebriation. We are aware of the defendant's prior criminal history. The state's recommendation is a $2,000 surety bond. We're requesting to stay away from the incident location, no drugs, alcohol, or firearms while on bond. But we are requesting also that a social worker visit the defendant to conduct an alcohol and drug evaluation. And that will be all for the state at this time.
Mr. Dodd?
Honor, on behalf of my client, he's 39 years of age. He also, as well, he's currently unemployed, had been working through a temp service. The temp service lost its contract, but he's still actively looking. He does reside in Fairburn, Judge. I believe pretrial is recommending and I may have misheard, released through level 3, which is what I would ask for. There's no indication, Judge, that a social worker visit is needed in this case. Obviously, if he remains in custody, one of the attorneys will go and talk to him anyway, before SAP. But I did not get any indication that that is a needed in this particular case.
Okay. Ms. Bostic, what was pretrial's recommendation?
Mr. Turner,
Yes.
open it back up, Judge. Choose release, Mr. Turner, level 3.
Okay. Thank you. For each charge will be a $2,500 signature bond through pretrial level 3, makes for a total of a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. Stay away from the incident location, surrender all firearms, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Turner.
And then we got 28, Mr. Williams.
Your Honor, I believe that's a conflict case, Judge.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dodd. Yes, Ms. McLeod, this is your case.
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Williams. You've been charged in case 25 CR 002073G with 2 counts of simple battery. Is there a history, Ms. Bostic?
Williams. Judge, in regards to Mr. Williams, there's 4 cycles misdemeanor possession in 2013. He received PTI. Last arrest was in 2019 for obstruction. That was dismissed. If you're choosing to release him on a UJR or signature bond, please suggest level 1. Nothing further.
Thank you. Ms. Harrison?
Yes, Your Honor, this incident occurred on April 20th, 2025. Officers were dispatched to a fight call with gunshots fired. On the scene, they saw the defendant standing in his front yard with no shirt on. He was actively arguing with his neighbor, who had visible mud marks on her clothes and shoes. Officers approached the neighbor, which is the victim in this case, Ms. Shantae Smith. Ms. Smith stated that at approximately 8 o'clock in the morning, she was sitting on her steps and the defendant began to mow his lawn. Somehow or another, they ended up arguing, and she told the defendant that she felt that he was trying to antagonize her because he never mows his lawn that early in the morning. At which point she stated the defendant walked over into her front yard in front of her garage and pushed her, then struck her in the face. She tried to push him back, and he grabbed her and began dragging her across the yard, which is why she had the mud marks on her clothes. Her son was a minor. He's 16 years of age, was inside the house and saw the incident occurring. He ran outside to break up the altercation and was subsequently slammed on the ground by the defendant, who then began to strike him as well. The defendant's wife witnessed the altercation from their house, and that's when she grabbed the gun and fired some shots into the air. The officer confirmed the events with the minor, JM, and the defendant's wife on the scene. The state's recommendation in this case is a $4,000 surety bond with $2,000 for each charge. We're requesting to stay away from the incident location. No contact at all with the neighbors. That would be Mrs. Shantae Smith or her minor son, JM. And we're also requesting the conditions of no alcohol, drugs on weapons while the defendant is on bond. We're asking the defendant to complete a 1-day anger management awareness course as well due to the severity of his actions. We would like to sound for the victims if they're present in court today, and that'll be all for the state, Your Honor.
Ms. Smith did I take care of Ms. Smith earlier? Was this one earlier or not?
We did the co-defendant earlier. I'm not sure. I don't think I heard Ms. Smith
I
testify.
don't think the alleged victim came on, Your Honor.
Yeah, I don't recall
Ms.
that.
Shantae Smith is on the line. She's court now. It's your opportunity. Okay, Ms. McLeod.
It's Your Honor. Mr. Williams has no significant criminal history at all, and certainly no violent history. So I would request a signature bond for him, Your Honor, and that he doesn't have any contact. This person is his neighbor, of course, so He can have no contact because he lives in his own house and he doesn't have to go to the neighbor's house. So we are okay with that provision. No
For
further
each
contact is fine.
For each charge, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, makes for a total of a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with Ms. Smith. Stay away from her residence. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Your Honor, that concludes my business before the court today. May I be excused?
Yes, have a good rest of your day, Mr. McLeod. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. The same to you.
Who do we have next?
I'm sorry, we go to number 7, Ms. Garvin.
Okay.
And Your Honor, I have sent a waiver of appearance for Miss Garvin.
Okay. Well, what are we doing with position 1, James Ale?
He is gonna be a behavior reset.
Okay, so position 1 is going to be reset until tomorrow, 4/22. What about position 14, Willie Johnson?
He's gonna be a medical reset.
Medical reset until tomorrow, 4/22.
Yeah, Judge, I actually spoke to Mr. Johnson. I mean, I'd be happy to waive his. I didn't specifically address the waiver, but it was reset from Saturday. That's my only concern, Judge. But I actually did speak to him.
Well, I think that we're going to need a written waiver for me to address him today, Mr. Haddad.
I'll take care of it, Judge. If you'll give me a minute, I can send it to Ms. Grace, I think.
Ms. Bridgewater.
Bridgewater, I apologize.
Okay, so let me take up Mr. Garvin first. Mr. Garvin's position number 7, charged in case 25 CR 002075E, excuse me, with theft by shoplifting. Is there a history?
Judge, in regards to Garvin, extensive history in DC, 24 cycles, FTA in 19, 18, 17, destruction of property in 17, Bail Reform Act in 17 and 13, misdemeanor CWAC in 12, Alabama 1 cycle, Virginia 1 cycle, FTA on booking, Georgia 19 cycles, theft by shoplifting in 22, obstruction, fleeing and eluding 22, FTA 2221, disorderly conduct 2019, open case theft by shoplifting 24 SC 000023, in judicial hold with Judge McBurney, theft by shoplifting open 24 PI 008976, on probation for reckless driving, DUI, driving while license suspended, 9/12/24 for 12 months, probation theft by shoplifting 22 SC 181861, 11/16/22 for 2 years and 283 days. Nothing further.
All right. Who's presenting for the state?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, what position is this?
Position number 7, Mr. Garvin.
Oh, that's me, Your Honor.
Okay, whenever you're ready, Ms. Melgizo.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident is from April 19th, 2025. The location is Kroger, located at 2452 Morosco Way Northeast, Atlanta, Georgia. Your Honor, on the day of the incident, officers responded to the location regarding a theft by shoplifting. They were informed that the defendant entered the store and concealed merchandise, including 2 packs of meat, 9 bottles of alcohol, and 2 first aid kits. The defendant then attempted to exit the store without paying for the items. When confronted by store security, the defendant initially claimed that she had returned the items to the store manager, which was later determined to be false. Security personnel recovered the stolen items, and they totaled to $385.02. Your Honor, this case is actually, we sent a recommendation to the DA's office as a felony because he has she has more than 4 theft by shoplifting convictions. She actually has a felony open case for theft by shoplifting. That case is 24 PI 008979. Open FTA 25 FTA 0007940. We haven't heard back from the DA's office, but for those reasons, the state's recommendation is a $3,000 surety bond, an anti-theft course, stay away from Kroger, located at 2452 Morosco Way, Northeast Atlanta. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons while on bond. That is all for the state.
Yes, Your Honor, Miss Garvin is 35 years old. She has lived in Georgia for the past 7 years. She tells me that she has been homeless for the last several years. She has no phone. She has no ID. I have requested a social worker visit. Your Honor, her bond is currently set at $780 surety bond. She can't afford any bond at all. She's also still being held on a failure to appear in a case in Superior Court. So she's not going anywhere, but I would ask for a signature bond through pretrial services so that once she is able to be released, and it will be after our social workers have a chance to see her and see what resources she may need, that she will be able to be released. She can't afford any bond, Your Honor. And I am requesting a signature bond, even if it's at level 4.
I'll leave the bond where it is for now. So it'll be a $780 good bond, a social worker visit. Stay away from that Kroger on the Roscoe Way. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. See, I think our last one is position 14 with Mr. Willie Johnson, charged in case 25 CR 002049B with theft by receiving stolen property. Do you have a history, Ms. Foster?
Sorry, Judge, I opened the Willie Johnson. Oh, there it is. Judge, in regards to Mr. Willie Johnson, 14 cycles out of Georgia, theft by shoplifting and drugs that are extremely old. The last arrest was in 2011, which was a conviction for cocaine with the intent, marijuana with the intent. Nothing further. Oh, if you choose to release him, we suggest level 1.
Ms. Harrison?
Your Honor, this incident occurred on March 24th, 2025. The incident location is 1108 Welch Street, WELCH, Atlanta, Georgia. Investigators received a burglary case to investigate. They contacted the victim, which is Mr. Hassan Baker. Mr. Baker stated that someone entered his home without consent and stole several items from the location. On the same day of the incident, which was later in the day, he observed a black male transporting a large trash can in his next door neighbor's driveway. So he approached the male and saw his stolen air conditioning unit inside the trash can, along with some burglary tools. When he attempted to ask him questions about the AC unit, the defendant fled on foot. 3 days later, Mr. Baker observed the same person near University Avenue, and he also saw an Atlanta Police Department patrol vehicle. So he stopped the police and spoke with the officers about the burglary incident and pointed the direction of the defendant to the officers. Officers stopped the defendant and questioned him, and they did a supplemental report regarding the case. They then brought photos to Mr. Baker to identify the suspect, and he identified him as the defendant, Mr. Willie Johnson. In light of the defendant's prior criminal history, the state's recommendation is $1,000 surety bond. And we're asking for a stay away from the incident location, which would be the victim's home, 1108 Welsh Street. And we're also requesting conditions of no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. We would like to sound for the victim. I don't think he's on the call, but we'd just like to sound for the victim in case he is, and that's all for the state.
Mr. Hassan Baker's on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Mr. Dodd?
Judge, my client is 69 years of age. He is unemployed. Well, he's retired. When I asked him about types of work, he pretty much done odds and ends over the years. Obviously limited income. I would just ask that he be released through pretrial services, Judge.
Okay, it will be a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with Mr. Baker. Stay away from the Welch Street address. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Okay, does that take care of everyone this afternoon? If so, Ms. Bridgewater, whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon. Once again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is May the 6th. Position number 1 is medically reset till tomorrow. Position 2 is reset further notice with a total $4,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 3 is reset further notice with a total $2,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 4 is going to the SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. Position 5, also SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. Position 6 is reset further notice with a total $2,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 7 is going to the SAP calendar with a $780 good bond. Position 8 is reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 9 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $2,500 good bond. Position 10 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $3,500 good bond. Position 11 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $3,000 good bond. Position 12, SAP calendar with a total $2,000 good bond. 13 is reset further notice with a $1,000 SOB through pretrial. 14, reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 15 is reset further notice with a total $6,000 SOB through pretrial. 16 is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 17, reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 18, reset further notice with a total $5,000 SOB through pretrial. 19 is reset further notice with a total $5,000 SOB through pretrial. Now, position number 20 is going to the SAP calendar for April the 29th with a total $3,000 good bond. 21 is reset further notice with a $1,000 SOB through the jail. 22 is going to the SAP calendar May 6th with a total $2,000 good bond. 23 is reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 24 is reset further notice with a $1,000 SOB through the jail. 25, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through the jail. 26, reset further notice with a total $5,000 SOB through pretrial. 27, reset further notice with a total $5,000 SOB through pretrial. And 28 is reset further notice with a total $4,000 SOB through pretrial. Are there any questions, corrections, or otherwise? Okay, we got through it.
Thank you, everyone.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Very good day. Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a good rest of your evening.
See you tomorrow, Judge.
Hi, Mr. Haddad.
Bye.
Okay, goodbye, everyone.